Today, we are thinking about how writers create themes in literary works, and specifically, you will be formulating a theme statement for The House on Mango Street. This tutorial will walk you through how to use the graphic organizer in order to formulate your theme statement. You have this handout with you. It is the topic and theme organizer, and this is what you're going to use in order to develop your theme statement. The first part of the handout is the thematic topic. You want to choose from one of the topics that we have generated in class. You have a huge list of thematic topics addressed in this work, and you are going to choose one that you think is really interesting. I'm choosing community for this example. The next step asks that you find textual details that support the thematic topic. You should use your capture sheet packet for The House on Mango Street in order to find this textual evidence. You've already captured plenty of it. You just need to go back to your handout and look. You're going to identify the quotation, what it reveals, what the quotation reveals about the narrative element, and then the chapter and page where you found that quotation. This is where all of the pieces start to fit together. So when we're looking for quotations, we're looking for narrative techniques and narrative devices. And then I'm also asking you to tell me what it reveals about a narrative element. We are starting to put all of the pieces together. Let me show you a really brief graphic on how these pieces fit together. So thus far in this quarter, we have talked about narrative techniques, narrative elements, and theme. I have a graphic here, and you have a copy of this handout that shows how all of these pieces fit together. Every writer has a writer's toolbox, and they use all of these tools that we have talked about. We've talked about figurative language, we've talked about direct and indirect characterization, we've talked about description and syntax and dialogue. These are all tools that writers use. Writers use these tools to build narrative elements. The narrative elements I've represented on this graphic as pieces of furniture or things that live inside our house here. So writers use the narrative techniques, the writer's tools, in order to build things like conflict or mood or setting or character. All of those narrative elements are contained within the house. The house itself is the theme, the overall universal message that the author wants us to think about. So the writer uses the tools to build the pieces that go inside the house, pieces like characters and setting and mood and conflict. And the theme is the overall message. All of the pieces inside the house contribute to the theme. So the mood contributes to the theme, and the conflict contributes to the theme, and the characters contribute to the theme. And all of the tools that the writers use to build those pieces also contribute to the theme. So that's how all the pieces work together. So you are going to, for step 2 on the topic and theme organizer, identify the textual details that support your thematic topic. Remember, my topic is community. So I have found my first quotation is, "This is the tree we chose for the first annual Tarzan jumping contest." And I've said that that reveals something about the relationship among the community. So the first annual means that there's been more than one. And that shows that the community is tightly knit enough, or at least the children in the community are tightly knit enough, that they are going to have something called the annual Tarzan jumping contest. I found this in the chapter called Mimi Ortiz, and it's on page 22. The second quotation I found said, "They put handcuffs on him and put him in the back seat of the cop car, and we all waved as he drove away." I say that this reveals something about the setting. The community members are waving, so this idea of driving away in a cop car, it's either a common occurrence that they know he'll be back and they're not very concerned, or it's such a rare occurrence that they're actually excited about it. But it definitely reveals something about the setting. I found this in the chapter called Louis, His Cousin, and His Other Cousin, and it's on page 25. The final quotation I found said, "She is older and knows lots of things. She is the one who told us how Davy, the baby's sister, got pregnant, and lots of other things I can't remember now." I said that this reveals that there's gossip in the community, which means that the community is tightly lit enough and they have enough experiences to which they can relate to one another that they actually share those experiences. I found this in the chapter called Marin, and it's on page 27. Okay, so now I have my thematic topic of community. I've identified 3 quotations that support this idea of community. I've explained how it reveals something about the different narrative elements, each one of those quotes, and I've identified where I found all of those quotes. Now it's time for me to come up with a theme. What universal message about life, society, or the human experience does the author want the reader to think about? All right, when you are developing a theme statement, you need to make sure you have all of the pieces. So there is a sentence stem for you there. It says in, you have to add the title, then you identify the author, develops the theme, and then you identify your thematic topic. Remember, my thematic topic is community. And then you identify what does the author believe about the topic? What does the author want us as readers to think about? So here's my example using this sentence stem. In The House on Mango Street, Cisneros develops the theme, the communities form around shared experiences, not just geography. So I've identified my thematic topic, which is community, and what the author believes about the topic, what the author wants us to think about. And that's that communities form around shared experiences, not just geography. So I'm going to take that thematic statement and I'm going to pop it into my handout right there at the bottom. And now my graphic organizer is complete. I can complete the assignment, which remember is as a group, you're going to choose 2 thematic topics on which you're going to focus for the rest of the novel. You're going to become experts in those topics for the rest of this novel. And then as a group, you're going to complete the topic and theme organizer for each one of the topics that your group has chosen. So by the end of this activity, you will have 2 completed graphic organizers, one for each of the thematic topics you've chosen.